Oh, I'm sure you'd love it. It's a stupid fraternity tradition where a bunch of borderline humans stand around swilling beer and vomiting on themselves.
Step into the cozy Boston bar where everybody knows your name, but almost nobody knew what was really happening behind the scenes. Hidden tensions, shocking switch-ups, and secret stumbles brewed into one of TV's most celebrated sitcoms. Here are 10 Cheers secrets the cast worked hard to keep out of the spotlight, counting down to the most unexpected of all. Number 1. The set was a real working bar, after dark. Let's go back to the smoky glamour of Boston's friendliest drinking hole where everybody knows your name and the walls themselves had stories to tell.
Are you Sam?
Yeah.
Yes, he's here. Someone named Vicky.
No.
No, she knows you're here. I told her you're here.
While millions of homes tuned in to Cheers each Thursday night on NBC beginning in 1982, fewer fans knew the set doubled as a secret getaway for its stars when the director called it a wrap. After the lights dimmed and the extras cleared out, that horseshoe bar came alive again, not for scripted punchlines, but for real laughter, clinking glasses, and unwinding after a long day of filming. Ted Danson, Shelley Long, Rhea Perlman, and the rest of the gang would stay behind with trusted crew, pouring actual drinks and swapping stories right there in the famous mahogany corners where Sam Malone served fictional beers. This spontaneous tradition wasn't just a perk. It helped cement the natural chemistry that radiated from the screen, making Cheers one of the most authentic ensembles in sitcom history. The sticky tabletops, the scent of real ale, the hum of private chatter, they're why the bar felt so lived in, so genuine, week after week. It was more than just a set. For a time, it was a living, breathing place where television magic and off-camera camaraderie blended into something unforgettable. And as the last lights blinked off for the night, you could almost hear the echoes of another toast, carrying you straight into the next story. Number 2. Carla's ever-growing family was a writer fix. The clatter of tumblers and the laughter of regulars set the stage, but something in the background kept changing at Cheers, a certain barmaid's perpetually growing number of kids. Rhea Perlman's fiery character, Carla, became famous for her sharp tongue, and, just as notably, for her ever-expanding brood. What most fans didn't know was that every time the writers needed a punchier episode or found themselves short on jokes, Carla got another pregnancy. It was their reliable sitcom shortcut. In reality, the series writers leaned on Carla's chaotic family life to liven up the plot and buy themselves time when the week's storylines felt thin. By the time Cheers wrapped its 11th season in 1993, Carla was mother to 8 kids. Each arrival played for laughs, sometimes with little explanation beyond her wry grin. These running gags became a signature part of the show's DNA and cemented Carla as sitcom's ultimate supermom. Always hustling, always undaunted, and always ready with a comeback. For Perlman, this gave her endless new comedic beats, making Carla more iconic. With each season, it was an inside joke that blended necessity with creativity, a secret recipe for keeping the taproom energy high even when inspiration ran dry. Every time Carla juggled bar orders with baby bottles, Cheers served up another laugh, leaving audiences happily thirsty for the next round. Number 3. George Wendt's beer was actually near beer. Even if you never set foot in the Cheers bar, you know the frothy mug that greeted Norm each time he plopped onto his favorite stool. But here's a truth fans rarely saw coming. Those golden pints never packed a punch. Instead of genuine beer, George Wendt, who played Norm Peterson, gulped down near beer, a non-alcoholic, watery concoction that kept the real thing far from the set. Producers made the switch early in the show's run, back in 1982, realizing that endless takes could add up to serious trouble if the cast were actually drinking real alcohol. For Wendt, it became a twice-weekly ritual, lifting his mug to a chorus of Norm while slyly savoring the substitute. The running joke of Norm's bottomless thirst quickly made him the show's everyman and a beacon for barflies coast to coast. Still, behind the scenes, George Wendt had the tough job of making that fake beer look refreshing, episode after episode, for 11 straight seasons on NBC. Every time you hear that greeting, you can almost taste the cold fizz. But in truth, it was all smoke, mirrors, and malt flavoring. And yet, it became one of sitcom history's most beloved barroom rituals. As the mugs clinked and laughter rolled, Norm's near beer created memories that somehow felt stronger than anything you could pour from a tap. Number 4. Beba Neuwirth almost left early. Imagine the Cheers bar without the icy wit of Dr. Lilith Sternin. Hard to picture, right? Yet when Baby Neuwirth first stepped into her sharp-shouldered suits in 1986, she nearly didn't stick around. The early days were rough. As a Broadway-trained newcomer, Neuwirth felt like an outsider among a cast that was already a tight-knit family. The banter behind the bar was real, sometimes making her question whether she belonged in this Boston sitcom world. Word got to the producers that she was planning to leave after only a few episodes. Deciding they couldn't lose a talent like Neuwirth, they urged her to stay. She agreed, and something clicked. Soon, her cool, deadpan delivery became the perfect foil to Frasier Crane's uptight neuroses and the larger-than-life personalities around her. Her portrayal would earn Neuwirth 2 Emmy Awards for Outstanding Supporting Actress in a Comedy Series in 1990 and 1991. Looking back, it's almost unthinkable that TV audiences might have missed out on the smart, biting humor Lilith brought through 11 seasons. Sometimes the most iconic characters are just one tough decision away from vanishing. Hold on to your ginger ale or scotch. Cheers always had another surprise waiting beneath. The laughter. Number 5. Secret rivalries between cast members. You could almost taste the camaraderie at Cheers, but the barstool banter sometimes spilled over after the camera stopped rolling. As the show soared in popularity on NBC through the 1980s, so did the competition behind the scenes. Cast members like Ted Danson and Shelley Long found themselves quietly jockeying for attention, wanting just a little more spotlight and say over their characters' storylines. The show's rise wasn't only about winning Emmy Awards or about climbing to number 1 in Nielsen ratings. It was personal, and the stakes were higher than ever. Whispers about script rewrites and rehearsal tips were kept far from the audience's ears. Kelsey Grammer's addition as Frasier sometimes upset the established dynamic, fueling subtle rivalries as writers shifted focus. By the time Cheers entered its record-breaking 11th season in 1993, these quiet feuds could have rocked the cozy on-screen harmony the world adored. Yet you never saw Diane roll her eyes at Sam for real, or Norm snap at Cliff out of frustration. The cast worked hard to project unity, expertly hiding any cracks in their beer mug bond. It's proof that, even in the friendliest watering holes, human nature can stir up a secret storm. Up next, let's pull back another curtain to reveal just how fragile TV magic could be. Let's pause for a second. Did you ever sense any tension on Cheers? Or did the cast's chemistry fool you completely? Which behind-the-scenes bombshell would surprise you most? Share your best sitcom secrets and stories below. Number 6. Nicholas Colasanto's illness was masked on set. The clink of glasses and easy laughter on Cheers always felt genuine, especially when Coach was behind the bar. But during the 3rd season, there was a secret written between the lines. Nicholas Colasanto, who played the endearing, absent-minded Coach, was doing more than just acting. He was quietly fighting a serious illness. The scripts in that 1984 season were often tweaked to help him through tougher days, written to limit his time on screen or shift key lines to other characters. Behind the scenes, the camaraderie deepened as everyone rallied to keep his struggle a secret from millions of viewers. Nicholas's warmth wasn't just a character trait, it was the real man, infusing every scene with comfort, humor, and a lived-in wisdom that made Cheers' Boston bar feel like home. When he passed away in February 1985, his absence was instantly noticed. The show shifted, both on-screen and off. Woody Harrelson arrived soon after, but cast and fans alike often found themselves wondering what Coach might have said or the quirky advice he might have dispensed. Colasanto's photo still hangs on the bar set, a subtle nod to his legacy. It's a reminder that sometimes the heart of a show beats strongest just behind the scenes. As our glass is empty for now, the next secret waits in. The wings, ready to be poured. Number 7. Kirstie Alley's nickname among the crew. The sudden thunder of laughter, the unplanned delays, the whirlwind of wild ideas. When Kirstie Alley arrived at Cheers in 1987 as Rebecca Howe, her energy was impossible to miss. Behind closed doors, the cast and crew affectionately started calling her the Tornado. It was more than a label. It fit her presence exactly. Kirstie would barrel onto the set with stories, jokes, and an improv spark that transformed every rehearsal. The seasoned crew, used to the steady rhythms of Ted Danson and Rhea Perlman, soon found the air charged with the unpredictable. Writers began scripting last-minute changes, inspired by her willingness to tip stability into chaos. Kirstie's tornado spirit breathed new life into Cheers, just as the show was entering its 2nd act after Shelley Long's exit. She didn't try to fill Diane's shoes. Instead, Rebecca Howe, awkward, ambitious, sometimes hilariously frazzled, became a fresh foil for Sam Malone. The show found a new heartbeat, and ratings soared again as viewers warmed to her different comedic style. It wasn't always easy for everyone. The tornado sometimes swept up props, barreled through lines, and left the soundstage buzzing for hours after she'd gone. But the crew agreed. Kirstie Alley's unpredictability anchored the chaos in something joyful, changing the dynamic of Cheers for good. The clatter of glasses, laughter, and the rush of her footsteps became part of the show's late 80s rhythm, recharging a classic just when it needed it most. As we move along, think about the nicknames and energies that shape the stories we remember best. Number 8. After-hours parties fueled cast chemistry. Cigarette smoke curling toward the rafters, laughter echoing past midnight. This was the real Cheers magic, long after the cameras stopped rolling. In Boston's iconic bar, the cast turned the set into their regular haunt, swapping scripts for stories and toasting life with real drinks, not colored water. Ted Danson, Shelley Long, George Wendt, and the gang weren't just acting like friends. They became friends, forging bonds over dart games, inside jokes, and practical jokes that sometimes found their way into episodes. Crew members remember pranks involving Norm's seemingly endless beer mugs and Kirstie Alley's dramatic entrances, rehearsed over and over, sometimes just for laughs. These late-night gatherings let off the steam of grueling taping days, turning coworkers into a family that felt like an open secret. The informal parties made the chemistry on-screen electric, each wisecrack and glance charged with the inside warmth of real camaraderie. The vibe was so infectious that by the time Cheers first aired in 1982 on NBC, it oozed off the screen, inviting millions to pull up a stool every Thursday night. That's what makes rewatching an episode still feel like coming home. You're not just seeing actors, you're catching glimpses of something genuine, something grown after hours beneath the studio lights. Number 9. Shelley Long's departure was planned in secret. The soundstage buzzed with rumors, but almost no one outside the writer's room knew the truth. Shelley Long's departure as Diane Chambers was a secret everyone was desperate to keep. It was 1987, and after 5 unforgettable seasons, Cheers' resident intellectual waitress made the quiet decision to move on. Producers, determined to protect the delicate fabric of the show and the hearts of millions of loyal viewers, kept Shelley's exit under wraps until the very last moment. Even backstage, whispers circled, but official word was scarce. Only a select few were read in on the plan, swearing allegiance to secrecy. When Long filmed her final scenes, the emotions in the studio air were undeniably real. On camera, Diane's heartfelt goodbye to Sam was poignant. Off camera, the tears and embraces were genuine, echoing the sense of loss radiating beyond the studio walls. Her departure didn't just shift the cast dynamic. Cheers underwent an immediate change in tone. New character Rebecca Howe, played by Kirstie Alley, would quickly redefine the show's rhythm and relationships. Fans tuning into NBC in later years could feel the shift, even if they hadn't known the backstage truth. Long's final walk out the bar's wooden door marked both the end of an era and the beginning of a new chapter. In the afterglow of Diane's farewell, one question lingered for everyone at home and behind the bar. Could Cheers capture its original magic once more? Number 10. Ted Danson wore a toupee as Sam Malone. You probably remember Sam Malone as the ultimate heartthrob behind the bar on Cheers. But here's a secret from the set. Ted Danson's signature full head of hair wasn't always what it seemed. As the show barreled into later seasons on NBC, Danson started wearing a toupee to preserve Sam's youthful allure. The crew kept this quiet, knowing how much Sam's good looks mattered to the storyline and to millions of fans tuning in every Thursday night. The hairpiece had to look natural under those iconic, brightly lit bar scenes, and the makeup department took it seriously, styling the toupee with precision before each taping. For Danson, donning the toupee was a practical solution to aging in Hollywood, but for Sam Malone, it was a shield, one that protected the character's confidence and kept viewers hooked. It's a testament to the era's television magic that so few fans caught on. Ted Danson's real hair made brief appearances only when scripts called for a joke about vanity or aging, but the true extent of the subterfuge was an inside joke among cast and crew. Even as Cheers wrapped its celebrated run in 1993, the secret stayed mostly behind the bar. Next time you picture Sam slinging drinks with that perfect coif, remember that legends sometimes need a little help from wardrobe. The next secret reveals even more about what it took to keep the bar buzzing every week.